got to put it all together. A little too involved to answer this quickly, so I got to go back on the air.
Roadwork is beginning in Forsyth County, 400 southbound from
This should be me coming up, right?
Exit 15, Bald Ridge Marina Road. 2 right lanes are blocked there, leaving only the left lane passable, and lots of extra volume downtown, southbound from Atlantic Station to Grady Curve, and northbound from University up to 10th Street. Jill Nelson, WSB.
If brains were looks, he would be the Brad Pitt of radio. That's why you listen to Dr. Joe Esposito on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. As always, it's a pleasure having you here, and thank you so much for telling your friends. The show is just growing in leaps and bounds. Every time I talk to my social media folks and my web designer folks, and they're just saying, listen, we're getting so many people going to the website, and I do appreciate that. Thank you. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, because we do live stream a lot of these shows, and you can always watch them live if you want to. And we always take those shows and put them on our website, drjoe.com, and so you can watch or listen to archived shows, podcasts as they're called in the modern day. And sometimes people call up and say, well, Dr. Joe, what about a certain topic? And maybe a few weeks ago I did a whole 2 hours on that topic. You can just go listen to the show. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call here at the studio, 844-44-Dr. That number rings through to my offices when I'm not on the air. So here's the thing. Whenever I went to a party this week, actually, and a bunch of different doctors, chiropractors, medical doctors, neurosurgeons come up to me, and they always ask about the show, and they ask about the research that we do, and they ask about, they have questions themselves, because got to remember, we're doctors, we're also patients. And the thing is that most doctors, and I'm not knocking them for this, believe me, because this is a little habit of mine, a little obsession of mine, is I read research. So maybe a doctor reads one article in New England Journal of Medicine or whatever, the Journal of American Medical Association, and they find out one topic on one thing, and they say, okay, now I understand that. But they're missing a lot of other topics. That's why there's folks that, myself and other people, that sit there and just scour the research constantly, trying to come up with new research and new ideas so that we can share it with you guys. Years ago, people said, how'd you get started into this thing? I was living in Georgia, drove up to New Jersey to visit my family, and it was Christmas. I drove back, and I was so poor at the time. I just graduated college, had no money, and I started bicycling to this grocery store, not near my rundown, roach-infested apartment, and I'd go on Tuesdays because they had dented cans of food and torn bags of rice, and I would buy that stuff, and I'd live on it because it was so cheap, and I started feeling really good. Couldn't figure out what was different in my life. And then I realized I was eating a plant-based diet. It was by accident that it started. And I started saying, gosh, I feel really good. My sinuses aren't running. My stomach feels better. I'm not bloated like I used to be. And that's when I started realizing what is it that's different. And when I looked at everything, I realized that was it. And after studying all the degrees I have, several of them in nutrition, I realized that the only thing that made sense was eating more plant-based foods. And so when people come to me and say, Dr. Joe, I've been told there's nothing that can be done for my condition. That might be true. However, there might be, in the alternative world, options that we can introduce for you. And I love co-managing cases. We have medical doctors all the time. We co-manage cases together. And we'll do a chiropractic part. They'll do a medical part. We'll do nutrition part. And then we see some amazing results. So I'm not saying don't take drugs. I'm not saying don't have surgery. If you need it, absolutely take it. But we want to try to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptom. So I told you before we're going to talk a little bit about MSG, and I really haven't covered this a whole lot in hardly any shows in all the years I've been on radio. So I've been studying MSG for about 30 years. That's kind of when the research started coming out. And it's called an excitotoxin. What they do is they particularly attack the brain cells, and they overstimulate them to the point where the cells can die. So dietary overstimulation through glutamic acid receptors transmits signals through the nervous system. Now, what the heck's a glutamic acid receptor? The cells have little ports on them. Kind of like a Star Trek type thing where the ship can pull into another ship. Okay, that's what happens in your cells. You have these docking stations where different nutrients can be absorbed. You might have a vitamin D receptor site. You might have a glutamic acid receptor site. You might have a hormone receptor site. So there's a lot of different receptor sites on the cell, and we learn more and more about this every day. And so when you get MSG, glutamic acid, there's a receptor site on the cell, and it can kind of dock with the cell. And if you have too much, it overstimulates the cells, and the cells can actually die. So why do we even have MSG? Well, glutamic acid is an excitotoxin, but it also is a flavor enhancer. Now, when I went to school a couple hundred years ago, we learned that there were sweet, sour, bitter, and salty taste buds on your tongue. And that's how they worked, and you passed the test if you wrote those 4 things down, and you got an A. Well, recently, in Japan, we discovered a new taste bud. You would think after all these years and all the dissections and we've torn apart bodies that we wouldn't find anything new. We found a new taste bud. And the taste bud is called an umami taste bud. I know it sounds silly, umami, right? Umami taste buds are stimulated by savory things. So like a steak or a gravy or something that's rich and savory. It didn't make sense to me either when I was in school. Sweet, salty, sour, bitter. What about a steak? Okay, now we know we have umami taste buds. So monosodium glutamate, glutamic acid, stimulates the umami taste buds and enhances the flavor. It's stimulating a whole nother taste bud. And so you're tasting things, this tastes much better than something without it. So we add MSG, and originally we used a seaweed extract. We, not me, this is way back when in Japan. And it had other nutrients mixed in with it, and so it wasn't this barrage of glutamic acid. Well, once we realized we can make glutamic acid, bacteria make it, and we can take this concentrated glutamic acid, monosodium glutamate, well, that's when things went wrong. We messed with Mother Nature. Remember the commercial? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. So that's where the problem comes in. And if you eat packaged food, read the ingredients in a little bit. I'm going to do it, yeah, coming up soon. I'm going to list all the different names that monosodium glutamate hides under. Now, if you go to my website, drjoe.com, one of my books I wrote called Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a whole chapter on this specific topic because it's such a big issue in the world. Now, as a chiropractor, my team of doctors and I, we want to protect your nervous system the best we possibly can from physical damage, pinched nerves, bones out of place, muscle spasms, and that's why chiropractic works so well, in most cases, with pain. Bone moves out of place, there's swelling at the joint, it pinches a nerve, irritates the nerve, and you have pain. Chiropractically, we put the bones back in place. Most times the pain goes away. It may take several visits, so don't get excited if it doesn't happen in one visit. And people love us. That's pretty awesome. But in our offices, we also want to make sure you're not irritating the nerves from a chemical standpoint. And monosodium glutamate is one of the things that can do it. Now, if you have aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener, which is in about 6,000 different products, probably more than that now, that's another issue. Because when you start mixing the two, we've got a problem. Now, we thought glutamic acid receptors only existed in the brain. They find in just about every organ and tissue in the body. That means when you eat foods that raise your glutamic acid levels, it affects the cells throughout the body. So don't think just because you ate it, you didn't have a reaction. Well, I don't have that problem. I eat MSG, I don't have a headache. It's affecting you. I promise you. It's called subclinical. Now, sometimes it's called Chinese food syndrome, right? You go to a Chinese restaurant, you eat MSG, you get a headache, MSG. Yeah, you know about that. You're the lucky ones. You're the ones that know that the glutamic acid is affecting you. My concern are the folks that don't get a reaction. Because because you have a problem, you avoid it. If you don't know you're having it, then it's a problem. Now, if you take MSG and combine it with aspartame, the blood glutamate levels are twice as high as they would be if it's the MSG alone. So the aspartame actually makes it worse. Folks, got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call here at the studio, 844-44-Dr.Joe. My website is drjoe.com. Hundreds of hours, over 1,000 hours of podcast there, video, audio. You can download them if you want to. If you have questions, give us a call here at the studio, 844-44-Dr.Joe. You can send them to me through my website if you don't get on the air today. If you want to make an appointment to come see us in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Hey, don't go anywhere. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Jimmy John's.
Hi. There we go. You have questions for me?
I have lots of questions for you. Psoriasis.
Almost always liver. So whenever I see psoriasis, the two things I got to tell you to give up right away, starting now, is wheat, and that's breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, anything with wheat, and dairy. When you cut out the wheat and the dairy, give it a couple of weeks, and in most cases, you start to see some of the healing start to begin. I would also recommend Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source to give your body the minimum amount of nutrients that it needs to heal. And then you could also take coconut oil and rub it on the skin externally. Psoriasis is from the inside out, not from the outside in. So the coconut oil is good, but getting to the cause is treating the inside out. And if your bowels aren't moving 2 to 3 times a day, yes, I said a day, you want to take Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser. Now, you might have pinched nerves in the low back because that's the nerve that controls the bowels. And if the intestinal cleanser doesn't work, then come see us and we need to fix those pinched nerves. Next question.
All right, so why is coffee bad for you when you drink it, yet in other instances, like a colon flush, would be good?
It's not good. It's just a good colon flush. So it's not a health food if you take it rectally, but it does stimulate the gallbladder. And it's weird because we've done studies on this. And we can put an endoscope down and look at your gallbladder, and you drink coffee, and the gallbladder moves a little bit. If you take it rectally, in an enema, that's what you're talking about, or whoever's talking about it, you do a coffee enema, we can see the gallbladder contract really hard. Why that happens, we're not really sure. But we know that it really cleans out the gallbladder. Now, if you have a diseased gallbladder, do not do this. Because if the gallbladder is diseased, it's an issue. If it's a healthy gallbladder, then I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to drink any coffee, either way, organic only, because coffee is one of the most highly sprayed foods in the world. So you want to avoid those pesticides as all possible. So organic coffee, if you have to do coffee, organic, decaf is better than regular, and then no coffee, of course, is best of all.
One woman, her daughter is really getting into the vegan kick. She loves vegan wraps, vegan sandwiches, but most with a whole grain bread or wrap. So what do you think about that? And should she start moving away from the whole grain?
Absolutely, yeah. I want you to stay away from the grains. Grains are just evil. All of them are sugar. No matter what, they all break down to sugar. Now, quinoa is probably a little better. It's actually a seed, not a grain, but we consider it a grain. It's probably better. It has higher protein, less carbs. So that would be a better choice. But the wraps are still not good. Now, it's better than a cheesesteak sandwich. But if this is step one into her world of healthy eating, step two is now take the stuff out of the wrap, and we call that a salad. And then we want to have that. But yeah, try to get away from the wraps if you can.
And now, on the topic of sugars, what's a way to kick those sugar cravings?
We have a supplement in our office. It's called Gymnema. If you call the office, it's not one of my supplements. We use a different company for the Gymnema. But Gymnema is great. So it helps curb your sugar cravings. And if you take a Gymnema tablet and chew it, it doesn't taste good. But what will happen is it like numbs your taste buds. And so whatever you eat, no matter how sweet it is, it doesn't taste sweet. And it's the coolest thing. I've done this at lectures already. I'll give everybody a little Gymnema, chew on it, and go, I taste nothing. You can taste other things, just not sweet. But the key is when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. So Super Greens, an essential source. I can't tell you how many patients have said to me over the years, Dr. Joe, I took the Super Greens, essential source, and my cravings started to go away. So start with Super Greens, an essential source. You get the Gymnema right away if you want to. When you call the office, we can get that for you. And that's the way to do it. Load your body up with so many good foods that the cravings go away. I don't crave sugar anymore. It's pretty cool.
I'm going to have to add this one to our list of daily questions. What about bio coffee?
I've had it. It's okay. I mean, basically just adding chlorella. So if you want to add Dr. Joe Super Greens to your coffee, you're going to get chlorella, spirulina, wheatgrass, barleygrass, and alfalfa grass, which is way better than just chlorella or spirulina. What is in bio? Chlorella, spirulina, I can't remember. It's one of the two. Anyway, if you take the Super Greens, that's great. But here's the thing. It's still coffee. And the reason they're giving you that is because it's loaded with minerals to neutralize the acid in the coffee. Well, if you didn't have the acid in the coffee to begin with, you wouldn't have to neutralize it. So, bio coffee, okay. The one I was given, one of my patients gave it to me, it wasn't organic. So I'd rather you do the organic coffee than a non-organic coffee. If you want to add Super Greens and Super Greens to it, then you got your own bio coffee. How about that? It's got to be organic, though.
And do you think that a plant-based diet can stop or reverse multiple sclerosis?
We've had a lot of patients with MS get very good results. Now, I could never guarantee a cure. There's no guarantee ever in the healthcare industry that there's a cure. But the answer is a lot of people do very well on a plant-based diet. Now, with MS, you have to stay away from dairy products. Dairy products can make it worse. So stay away from all dairy products. Your nervous system is already compromised. Why would you not want to give it all the benefits that you can? And chiropractic care works wonders with MS patients in most cases, because if you have a pinched nerve and you have the sheath, the myelin sheath being affected, you want to fix the physical stuff. That's when you come see us. Then you fix the chemical. Super Greens, an essential source. Vitamin D is very important in MS patients. Make sure you're taking Dr. Joe's vitamin D. About 5,000 international units a day. That's 5 drops a day. So I would get the chiropractic portion there, the plant-based diet, absolutely. The super greens, the essential source, and the vitamin D is the direction I would start if I had MS. Next.
I would love to tell you which organic coffee, but I don't like that.
No, we can't use brand names. My boss doesn't let me.
Brand names.
Now, if that company wants to advertise on the show, I'm sure they'll let me say it. So,
why do things like valerian root or St. John's wort seem to not work at first, like a lot of prescribed medicines?
well, the difference between herbs and medication is that medication, bam, it hits you and it works real fast. The herbs, many times, you have to build up in your body. Like taking vitamin D, it takes time to build up in your body. Nitric oxide, people say, I took nitric oxide, doc, I didn't see any changes in my love life. You're probably so deficient in nitric oxide, which opens up your blood vessels, that you have to rebuild the stores of nitric oxide. So it'll take some time. So with St. John's wort, W-O-R-T, by the way, it's not wart like on the skin, it's W-O-R-T, which is an old English word for flower. So it's St. John's flower, actually. It may take a while to build up the levels in your body. So that's why they don't work right away, but in most cases, they do work long term.
With the latest, most accurate and dependable weather forecast.
All right, here we go.
This evening and overnight. By Monday morning, we're down to 50. Sunny and 70 tomorrow afternoon. Tuesday, sunny, low 48, high 73. Then mostly sunny
Coming
Wednesday
back with
with a high of 77.
spices
60 degrees
to
on
increase
Peachtree Street at
metabolism.
News 95.5 and AM 750 WUSB. Depend on it.
Dr. Joe Esposito, the President of the United States of Health. Now on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad we're spending a little time together. We're talking today, and the title of this show, we always try to come up with these cool titles, you know. Foods that heal and foods that don't heal, foods that make you sick. And I was covering MSG, and I got a lot more to cover on MSG, but I do want to start taking some callers, because I know I don't want to wait on the line either. But if you have a healthcare question, give us a call here at the studio, 844-44 Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. Ginny, how can we make your day better? Hi. Well, thank you, Ginny. I enjoy having you here. Oh, this is a good one, Ginny. That's a great question, actually. Okay, so you want to know about gout. And the first thing you hear about gout, people say, well, stay away from meat because it's purine metabolism. Purines are found in meat, and you got to decrease that. But this is the meat, all types of meat, any type of meat, organ meat, worse than regular meat, but all meat. That would be chicken, beef, not even organic chicken. It still has the purine in it. So, but here's the thing. No one ever talks about high fructose corn syrup when it comes to gout. And here's why you need to know about this. When you eat high fructose corn syrup, if you eat more than 20 grams a day, the fructose has to be converted into glucose. And glucose is the fuel that your body uses. So when you're eating sugar, the fructose is being converted into glucose, and a waste product, or byproduct, I guess, of that, is uric acid. And uric acid is the whole thing with gout. It gets into the joints and it hurts. So you have to cut out all sugar. Even white table sugar is 50% fructose. High fructose corn syrup is 55% fructose. Agave nectar is 85% fructose. So agave nectar, even though it's a health food, is junk. So we got to stay away from the sugar. So breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, all good, excellent. Giving up wheat was a good call. Now, if you raw veggies, good girl, Ginny. See, you're listening. So the other thing, too, is if you have uric acid, it prevents the body from producing nitric oxide properly. And nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels, so now you can't get circulation to the area where the uric acid is built up, the gout, and it makes it worse. No, you want the uric acid out of your system, not in your system. You want it out of your system. Uric acid is what gets into joints and it hurts. So by avoiding the sugars and avoiding the animal products, you're going to reduce your intake of uric acid dramatically. Then you take something like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which are 2 powders, minimum amount of nutrients you should be taking every day. I take them every day. I have them here at the studio with me right now. The minimum amount of nutrients every day. So if you're not willing to do anything, this is for everybody, not just for you, Ginny, for everybody. If you're not willing to do anything else, at least get on Super Greens and Essential Source. Those are on my website, drjoe.com. That'll help alkalize and neutralize the acids in your body. That's important. Then for someone like you, I would add nitric oxide. We have Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support to open up the blood vessels and increase circulation. Now be careful, Ginny, because nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels to your happy areas. So I don't want you getting crazy on me now, okay? I don't want you getting running around. All right, Jenny, I don't want you getting pregnant now, okay? I don't want to get in trouble for this, okay? So you're good there, right, Jenny? Okay. Okay, so eating your veggies is great. Super green's an essential source. Nitric oxide, no sugar whatsoever, and you should be fine. That's it. You should be fine then. Okay? Thanks for calling. I appreciate it, Jenny. You're welcome. Thanks for listening, Jenny. And folks, all the supplements we talk about, are, most of them are on the website, drjoe.com, also available on Amazon. But you go to website, drjoe.com. We have a whole page in the store. My books are there. My supplements are there. We have a blog. I write articles if you want to read my articles, if you're a reader. If you like podcasts, we have audio and video. So go there and make sure that you pick whatever way you like to learn and start learning all sorts of new stuff. How are we doing on time? I guess we'll take another call. What do you think? Another call? Let's take another call. If you have a question, give us a call. 844-44-Dr.Joe. Wayne, how can we make your day better? I'm very good, sir. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. I understand, right. ADD is a big question. It's the #2 article downloaded on our website. #1 is about acid reflux, and I'm going to tie those two together for you. Her stomach job, your stomach job, everybody's stomach's job is to break proteins into something called amino acids. So you eat food, hydrochloric acid activates something, pepsin and pepsinogen. It breaks down the proteins into amino acids. Okay, it just dissolves it, basically. One specific amino acid called tryptophan goes into her small intestine, combines with vitamin B6, so she needs B vitamins as well, creates a chemical called 5-HTP, which becomes a chemical in her brain called serotonin. Okay? So serotonin is the neurotransmitter that helps her focus and calm down. So with ADD and ADHD patients, we find that there's a serotonin issue. So the medications we give those patients are to utilize the serotonin more efficiently. What if we just made more serotonin? Well, there's a novel idea. So chances are, and again, I don't know anything about your daughter, but chances are she's probably got some digestive issues. Bad gas, burps a lot, probably bloating. She's probably very ticklish because that's signs that the digestive system isn't working properly. So what we need to do in most cases, and I've been doing this for 34 years now, we adjust the stomach. For acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, we take the stomach and massage it or pull it down away from the diaphragm. And when we do that, the stomach relaxes and is able to break the proteins down into the amino acids to produce the neurotransmitters. So for someone like her, I would, I'm assuming she has digestive issues. I've never seen somebody with ADD who didn't have it in 34 years. I would get her on Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which is the minimum amount of nutrients she needs every single day. I'd bring her to come see us. If you're in the Atlanta area, bring her in to see us and we can work on her stomach. And then we do a further workup to see what other kind of nutrients we need. I'd probably get her on B vitamins as well because you got to get the B6. So if you give the body the raw materials, hopefully it can start producing the neurotransmitters so that her whole life turns around. And then we got to get her off the sugar as well. So there's the plan. That by far the easiest thing is just bring her into us. Yeah, and if you go to the website, drjoe.com, you can book it right online. Or if you dial this number, 844-44-Dr.Joe, we're not on the air, during the week, you could always just call 844-44-Dr.Joe. We'll get her set up as soon as possible, okay? Perfect. Thanks. I look forward to seeing her. Thanks so much. And that's a real good question because I see that question all day, every day. And it killed, because I'm sure I had ADD. We didn't have a name for it back then. You were just a jerk or a class clown or you got smacked around a lot. And that's what it was. Now looking back, sure enough, all the things that I've researched and a lot of the techniques we've designed and developed for ADD patients, I had all those signs. I was very ticklish. I had burping a lot. I was bloated all the time. I wasn't digesting my food properly. And then once I started getting my stomach fixed, and I got on things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, raw food, a lot of salads. Most of those problems just went away. It's pretty simple stuff, so it's kind of neat. Folks, got to go to break. When I come back, I'm going to give you a list of things the way that is actually MSG in disguise. You're going to be blown away by knowing what you're eating. It's actually monosodium glutamate affecting the glutamic acid receptor sites. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. My website, if you want to get supplements, if you have questions, listen to the podcast, want to make an appointment in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love to be your doctors to help you get well and stay well. Website is drjoe.com. The number is 844-44-Dr. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Like you, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, chances are you'd benefit from chiropractic care. Most people benefit from chiropractic care because chiropractic care tries to get to the cause of your problems and not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr. and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
If you are struggling to find...
There we go. All right.
All right.
Break number 3.
Question from the last break. Is there any kind of spices that you can add to your regular diet to help boost your metabolism?
Yes. In fact, we have a caller coming in, Karen, too. Chronic fatigue. What do we do about it? So we'll cover that, too, on the air. Hot pepper is great because it opens up the blood vessels. It's a vasodilator. Ginger is excellent. A lot of studies have been shown if you do ginger, and I do ginger. In fact, just yesterday I bought a big bag of ginger, and I kind of scrubbed it and peeled it a little bit, threw it in my food processor, covered about 1/2 with organic lemon juice, and I pureed the heck out of it. And I do that to break up the fibers. You want to make it like spaghetti puree, because if you just do a little bit, ginger can be very fibrous. Then I took it, I put it in ice cube trays and froze it. So now what I have is ice cubes of ginger, and I've got several bags of it in my freezer now. And so throughout the winter, or whenever I'm going to do it, I'll just take 1 cube, throw it in a glass of hot water, throw in some stevia as a sweetener, because ginger can be a little strong. And I have that at least once a day. And it's amazing how it helps curb your appetite. It helps with metabolism. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's also an aphrodisiac, so be careful. The other things to help your metabolism is your body needs nutrients. You got to put the fuel in the car to make it run. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, and Dr. Joe's Nitric Oxide, I would also suggest. And staying away from the sugary foods, the breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas, because that's the thing that really bogs down your metabolism. And then for metabolism, I would probably add adrenal support. Adrenal support, the adrenal glands produce energy, they produce anti-inflammatories, and they produce hormones, your sex hormones. So adrenal support, Super Greens, Essential Source, and Nitric Oxide. Hot peppers are great, ginger's great, and stay away from the sugary foods. There's your plan.
So here are a couple of, I guess, weird symptoms. So first off, just being pain in the back of the head, and then thumb twitching.
It's all probably the same nerve. The 6th cervical nerve controls your thumbs, the 7th cervical nerve controls your middle finger, the 8th cervical nerve controls these 2 fingers. So a pinched nerve in the neck is probably causing the twitching. Okay. And it's all tied into the neck. So it's probably bones out of place in your neck, because you just told me that. And if you want to come see us, if you're in the Atlanta area, we would love to see you, because that's not something you can do on your own, unfortunately. I try to give you as much information you can do on your own. This one is kind of out of your wheelhouse. You got to come see us for it.
And almost right in line, arthritis in my neck goes to my shoulders and then up to my jaw.
Sure. Arthritis, if you know it's arthritis, osteoarthritis is always mechanical. What that means is bones are out of place, rubbing up against each other. So if you have osteoarthritis, it's a bone out of place. The only treatment for that, aside from a nutritional protocol, is put the bones back in place. Now, alkalizing your diet, getting on a plant-based diet, Super Greens, Essential Source, Nitric Oxide, will probably help. But if the bones are out of place, only a chiropractic adjustment can put the bones back in place and stop them from wearing out. So I would strongly advise we go in that direction for that. So come see us and let's see if we can put that together for you.
This person actually does somewhat the same thing that you do for your ginger ice cubes, but uses fresh vanilla.
Sure. Why not? Good call. Make sure it's fresh vanilla, not artificial vanilla. But that's a great idea. I never thought about that, so I'm going to steal that idea.
And another person following up on your ginger cube recipe, they love to add basil.
That would probably be good. Sure, never thought about that.
Ginger, lemon, basil.
Yeah, and in fact, I have my last batch of basil I can pick before the frosts come in. I should add my basil to it. You're pretty smart. Good, love that. Love when you guys give me a hint.
Thank
tips.
Lisa for that one.
Thank you, Lisa.
And now, what'd you eat today?
I had a big day today. I ate a lot today because I was doing a lot of housework around the house. So I was nibbling throughout the day. I made a big pot of soup last night. Went to a party last night. When I came home, it was my pressure cooker. And I had that. I had a salad. Of course, I had super greens and essential source. I took all my supplements as I do every day. Had ginger tea. And then I had some broccoli.
Always on those mono meals.
Very simple. You don't have to make meals a big deal, folks. It's a lot cheaper, a lot easier to digest. And a lot healthier. So just simple things.
I just like only having to clean one pot.
Clean one pot, sure. Pressure cooker's easy, man. Just wipe it out.
You think your best years are behind you? You're wrong. Listen to Dr. Joe Esposito every week on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're there because we're giving you all sorts of good information that you need to know on how to naturally get well and stay well. If you're on hold, folks, I know a lot of you are on hold. Please keep holding. I do want to go through my promise thing that I talked about, the monosodium glutamate, where it's hidden. It's hidden in so many different things. Ready? I'll try to go through this list quick. It's in my book, by the way, Eating Right for the Health of It Too. Hydrolyzed vegetable protein. I thought that was good. I remember years ago, well, vegetables are good and protein is good. And I don't know what hydrolyzed means, but I guess it's okay. Hydrolyzed vegetable protein, hydrolyzed soy protein concentrate, soy sauce, textured protein, whey protein, plant protein extract, hydrolyzed oat flour, sodium caseinate, calcium caseinate, yeast extract, autolyzed yeast. And the thing is that it can sneak in also for things like natural flavor. So it could really be natural flavor, but it could be monosodium glutamate. So you got to be careful with that. And if it's something that really isn't all organic and it's probably natural flavor, really is natural flavor. But if it's something that's in a bag of chips, it's probably monosodium glutamate. But sodium caseinate, yeast extract, that's the ones you see. Hydrolyzed soy protein. If you're doing these things, if you read those in the ingredients, folks, I want you to stop doing it because you stimulate those glutamic acid receptor sites and it's going to excite the nervous system, burn out the brains, burn out the cells, and it's just so unhealthy. Start taking some more callers at 844-44-Dr. Joe. If you have a question, give us a call. Karen, how can we make your day better? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. My goodness, Karen. Sure. Yep. There you go. Right. There you go. All right. Sure. Sure. Well, chronic fatigue is not uncommon. Believe me, we see it all day, every day. And so a couple of things. Number one, you got to make sure you get enough water because water is one of the number one reasons people are tired all the time. The adrenal glands are probably burned out. If you have bags under your eyes, chances are your adrenal glands are burned out. So we probably want to get you on Dr. Joe's adrenal support. The super greens, the essential source, I swear by these things. And it's one of the reasons I run circles around the 20-year-olds and I'm more than twice their age.
True story.
True story. That's Garrett, who is less than half my age, and he looks at me sometimes and he goes, "Come on, man, stop already, right, Garrett?"
I swear this man has wires. He's a robot. I don't know how he does it.
So super greens, an essential source. Dr. Joe's adrenal support, nitric oxide support is very good. I enjoy that one too. And those would be the 4 supplements I would get you on. Everybody needs to get on vitamin D, especially in the winter. And so no matter what it is, if your vitamin D is low, we're finding it affects cancer patients and bone function and brain function and immunity. And so vitamin D is real important. So for you, I would suggest super greens, essential source, vitamin D, nitric oxide support, and adrenal support. And then a lot of raw food, broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, because raw food has enzymes in it. And the number one consumer of energy we have as humans is romance. Keep it clean, it's a family show. The number 2 consumer of energy is digestion. So if you're eating things like meats and dairy products and cheeses and they're so hard to digest, it's just zapping your energy. So at least 1 salad a day. Let's go with that. How about that? And then if you want to come see us, we can also check for pinched nerves. Pinched nerves can be very exhausting to the body too. So that might be something we want to look at as well. Okay? Good, Karen. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. All right, folks, if you have a healthcare question, give us a call here, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-444-DRJOE. And if you're on hold, keep holding, folks. I got to cover a little more notes here. My boss yells at me if I take too many callers and don't give enough notes in here. So we talk about where monosodium glutamate is hidden in your food. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, sodium caseinate, yeast extract, autolyzed yeast. Now, these many times, these next ones, could have MSG and usually do. Malt extract, bouillon. Now, I've already seen vegan bouillon, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is great. It's plant-based, and then they put yeast extract in there. It makes it savory to stimulate the umami taste buds to make it a flavor enhancer. So many soups have this yeast extract in it, and I really want you to avoid that. Does it taste good? Yeah, it does. But I really want you to consider getting away from that. So broth, stocks, natural flavoring, seasoning, spices, carrageenan. If you don't know what that is, that can also have MSG. Enzymes can be MSG. I remember when I was a kid, there was this white powder. I won't say the name. It may still be in business. I don't even know. And it was a meat tenderizer. And we'd put it on the cheap steak that my mother would buy because we were really poor. And we'd pound it with a hammer. There was a little hammer with little spikes on it. And we tenderized the meat. And it was fascinating. And I remember tasting it and going, this tastes really good. Well, it was a flavor enhancer. We didn't even know about the umami taste buds. We just knew it worked. We didn't know why. So that's not a good thing either. So a lot of times you want to take cheap food and make it taste tenderize it. You'll use these enzymes, which can have glutamic acid in it. Now, MSG, a lot of people ask me about weight loss, can actually increase your risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Obesity caused by MSG exposure in animals is the very same obesity we see a lot in our young people. And this is something I see quite often. If you look around, we see that kids are a lot fatter than they used to be. I believe, of course, sedentary lifestyles, a lot of things that can go along with this. The sedentary lifestyle, computers, screen neck where they bend over. It's great for chiropractors. I think chiropractors invented computers because everybody's bent over, hunched over. It's great. Gives you neck pain. Come see us chiropractors. But the obesity issues is a big issue. Exercise is not going to combat this one. Yeah, if you have a bad diet and you exercise, that's good. But the MSG, when it gets into the body, can cause some real serious problems. It can be associated with insulin resistance. What else is insulin resistance called? Name that disease. Type 2 diabetes, yeah. It can be related to hypertension, abnormal blood lipids, especially high bad LDL cholesterol levels. What happens is the LDLs, I did a show on this a couple of weeks ago, the low-density lipoproteins oxidize. And when they oxidize, essentially they go rancid, and they irritate the lining of the artery walls. When it irritates the lining of the artery walls, it causes an inflammatory reaction. And when you have the inflammation in the arteries, the body starts to lay down calcium to protect that area, kind of like a scab almost. And if you keep laying down these scabs, this cholesterol in a certain area, you can start blocking off the arteries. And so bad fats are also a bad thing we want to avoid because they can oxidize. If you missed that show, it's on my website, drjoe.com. Folks, got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr.Joe. 844-44-Dr.Joe also rings through my offices when I'm not on the air. So if you want to make an appointment, come see us. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, if you've ever been in a car accident, folks, stop suffering. So many people say, why didn't I do this sooner? Go to my website, drjoe.com, make an appointment to come see us. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. There we go. Okay. We can do the liners right at 8 o'clock. Okay.
And this is one of my favorite questions, is when you actually want to indulge, what do you eat? Do you not ever have the taste for a slice of pizza or
God, I had some grass the other day. It was great. I had some pine bark. Oh, it was so good. Ground up. Oh, it was delicious. No, there's actually an ice cream out now. I have to say, this is probably one of my indulgences. It's dairy-free, and it's sweetened with erythritol and stevia. I won't say the brand name, but that's kind of, if I'm going to treat myself, that's what it is. And what's nice is I can have a little bit of it, and it doesn't stimulate the dopamine receptor sites in my nucleus accumbens and get me high. So I can have a little bit of it and walk away, as opposed to eating like real sugar. When I have that, I'm like losing my mind, like anybody else is. So that's a treat for me. But the thing is with a treat is this. A treat should be something that makes you feel good. And if you're eating cookies and cakes and donuts and pastas and margaritas and cheese pizza, that doesn't make me feel good. So to me, that's not a treat. It's momentary pleasure with long-term side effects. I'd rather have long-term pleasure without the side effects. And so it's not bad. It's actually good when you get to this point where you realize what's a treat. A treat is feeling good. So I want to give myself a treat all the time, not just sometimes, and not give myself that treat by feeling good. And Super Green's an essential source.
By the way, there is cauliflower pizza.
That's true.
You can make the base of a pizza out of cauliflower.
I have several crusts sitting in my freezer that I made. So you can make a cauliflower crust pizza, put some sauce on it, some vegan cheeses.
Some tomato
right
sauce
on,
without
man.
sugar.
Perfect. Excellent. Good call.
All right, question. Can the vitamin D and the adrenal support supplements be mixed with the super greens and essential source?
Absolutely. All the supplements can be mixed together. There's nothing you can't there's nothing you have to separate. So yeah, you can always mix them together.
And if you won't say the brand name of the ice cream, can you at least say your flavor, your favorite flavor?
Caramel macchiato.
All right, now, what foods and supplements are good for brain fog?
All right, hold that thought. I have been told by the great guru behind the takeout window there that I have to do some liners, so forgive me for a second, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. This week we're talking about foods that harm you and foods that can heal you. And we're going to give you... I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. This week we're talking about foods that can harm you and foods that can heal you. And we're going to answer some questions as to how you can get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito here. This week on my show we're talking about foods that harm and foods that heal. And we're going to give you some good tips on how you can get better fast. Hey, we're talking about foods that harm and foods that heal and what you need to know about them this week on the Dr. Joe Show. Those are my liners, folks. Got to do them for the syndicated shows around the country.
We need community.
We have stations all around the country, so they run commercials. They don't run live like some of you are seeing here. So.
Jewish organizations around the world have sent representatives.
So yes, the question was foods or supplements that help with brain fog, short attention span, and depression.
Okay, well, you got to fix the stomach when it comes to brain fog. We talked about that earlier with the caller. If you have the stomach is up against the diaphragm, you're not breaking your proteins into amino acids, and amino acids become the neurotransmitters in the brain. So that's the key. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, chances are you got to come see us because we can hopefully fix that. Nitric oxide is great, opens up the blood supply to the brain, and it works magic. As far as I'm concerned, that stuff is incredible for all aspects of your life. The Super Green's the essential source, the nitric oxide right away. The vitamin D, I just have to say that every time because most of us are deficient in vitamin D as well. Raw food, something raw at every meal. Broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocado, salad. So raw food is going to give you enzymes that help the body function more efficiently. And if you do eat a cooked meal, or cooked food, Dr. Joe's enzyme support to get the enzymes breaking down the food more efficiently. Because it's very exhausting to digest food. And if your digestive system isn't working, you're really zapping your body of energy.
I am not going to be able to pronounce this well, but he's taking omeprazole.
I was going to give you the bell. Omeprazole.
Or omeprazole.
We have a bell here. When Garrett gets something right, I give him the bell. He didn't get the bell today. That's acid reflux. That's pulling the stomach away from the diaphragm, and that's, man, I could build 10 practices on nothing but digestive issues. I was at a party last night, and like 5 different people came up to me about that. And it was just like, I went from one to another to another. Oh, Barbara just said that. Can I ask you? Yes. So go to my website, drjoe.com. Is it the first article on the website? On GERD?
Yes.
It's the first one under blog. Read that article, and then come see us. So hopefully we can get that fixed for you.
Here's a quick one. What are your thoughts on plantains?
They're okay. I mean, if you fry them in sugar and butter, probably not a good idea, but they're okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with them. I mean, yeah.
So here's somewhat of a lengthy one. If you had stage 4 to 5 chronic kidney failure and were faced with dialysis, would you accept dialysis and possible transplant, or try to reverse the failure naturally?
Both. Okay, I would do everything I could naturally. If you need dialysis, you need dialysis. You're gonna die if you don't get it. So, absolutely, and it's funny because 20, 30 years ago, I don't think I ever saw a patient with kidney failure. Now we're seeing it several times a week. It's crazy what's happening. So yeah, with that, you got to check the nerve supply in the mid-back. That's the nerve supply to the kidneys. Nitric oxide is very good for opening up the blood supply to the kidneys because obviously you're not getting the proper supply in there. Alkalizing the system, super greens, essential source, raw food. I know I sound like a broken record, but chiropractic, check the nerve supply there. And if you need dialysis to stay alive, you need dialysis to stay alive. I mean, it is what it is. And then try to fix it the best you possibly can. We've had a lot of patients come back to their kidney doctors after several weeks of treatment with us. And the doctor says, I went from stage 4 to stage 3, stage 3 to stage 2. Now, again, can't promise you anything, can't guarantee anything, but you asked what I would do. That's what I would do.
So now, I see so many ads about soy milk being bad. Is soy often bad, GMO, and non-organic?
Yes, I'm not a big fan of soy. I like rice milk, almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk. I get whatever's on sale. I'm not a big fan of soy. It's hard to digest. It can cause a lot of digestive issues. Most soy in this country, I think 90% of it is genetically modified, so that's another reason to stay away from it. Yeah, so you want to stay away from soy milk if you can. If you're going to do soy milk, it's got to be organic.
What about fermented soy?
Fermented soy is a better choice, like tempeh or miso. Now, I get headaches if I eat miso. I don't get it with tempeh, but I get it with miso. So the fermentation process, I can't do alcohol. There's a chemical in your body called alcohol dehydrogenase, and it breaks down alcohol, and I apparently don't make that enzyme because even any type of alcohol, beer, wine, vodka, whatever, I don't do well with it. So anything that's fermented, I don't do well with. Something like miso, I can do kimchi, and I'm okay with it, but the miso doesn't do it for me. But if you're going to do soy, it's got to be fermented, and it's got to be organic.
That's interesting. I always had a problem with alcohol.
Yeah, you too?
Getting sick before getting drunk.
Yeah, I never enjoyed it.
Like, I'd get a headache, and I'd get queasy, and I wasn't even, tipsy yet.
Yeah, right. So why bother? That's how I felt. Yeah. I remember being at football games in high school, go to somebody's house, and they'd have a keg. And I remember just getting a beer, standing there, nobody looking, I throw it out. Give me another one, man. Give me another one. I was like the cool guy, And I never liked it. And so I just said, why am I doing this? And the last time I had a drink, I was 28 years old. No, not yet. I had a glass of champagne. And I felt like crap for a day and a half. And I said, I'm done. That was the last time I had a full glass of anything. That was it.
All right, Instagram. We are going to be right back.
Yeah, we got to cut out and cut back on again. Instagram won't let us be on for an hour at a time. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
The North Loop road work causing heavy delays.
Facebook and YouTube and everything else. You're still with us because you guys are cool. Those Instagram folks had to go, come and go. So. We should be kicking in any second now. News gone a little long today. Usually about 30 seconds longer than usual today. Must be a lot of news today. All right, here we go. Nope, not yet. Psych!
All right, so here's one.
Clear and cool this
real quick.
Falling through the 60s into the 50s.
Does coffee reduce your risk of mouth and throat cancer?
Some upper 40s in the summer.
I've never heard that either way. I don't know yes or no. I've never heard that either way, so I can't give you an opinion on that. Oh, you win.
Tuesdays low 48, high 70.
Stop Dr. Joe.
Definitely organic though. If you are
going to do coffee, it's got to be organic.
60 degrees
or just don't
on
do
Peachtree
it.
Street at News 95.5
Much better choice.
and AM 750 WSB. Depend on it.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
True independence comes from feeling good and staying out of the doctor's office. Get stronger and healthier with Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you were with me today. We're talking about foods that heal and foods that make you sick. And we got covered a lot about MSG because this is something that I really don't talk about much, but it's everywhere. And so you've got to start reading labels. And here's a rule on labels. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. But hydrolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, yeast extract, all of these are forms of monosodium glutamate, and that free-form glutamic acid is a problem. Now, you need glutamic acid in your body. It's one of those amino acids that are very necessary. They all are. And if you have too much of it, when it's concentrated, that's when it causes problems. It's like it plays well with others, but when it's by itself, it causes lots and lots of trouble. And if we talked about MSG can actually increase your risk of insulin resistance, which is type 2 diabetes. And if you have type 2 alone, it increases the risk of having a heart attack by more than, if you have type 2 diabetes, it increases your risk of heart attack by 360%. So if you have type 2 diabetes, folks, you really need to sit up and take notice. And I've done shows on this, and there's a lot of research out on reversing or certainly stabilizing type 2 diabetes. And the bottom line is a lot of fiber. 68 to 72 grams of fiber a day can push the sugar through the colon and take the stress off your pancreas and the cells, which are now preventing insulin from opening them up and letting sugar in. Kind of they get deprived of sugar. And they go, you know what? I think we're going to let some sugar back in again. And many times we can stabilize type 2 diabetes with a really good dietary protocol. And as a chiropractor, we always check the nerves in the mid-back. The 6th thoracic vertebrae is the nerve supply to the pancreas. That might be a player as well if you have a pinched nerve there. So from a chiropractic standpoint, I always look at what's causing the pain, which is what most people come to us for. But 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You don't feel your thyroid and your spleen and your blood pressure and your insulin resistance. All controlled by nerves. So part of a protocol that we put together in our office is we look for a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and a good diet. And the minimum amount of nutrients. I can't stress this enough. Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. Mix them together. You can mix it with cold water. Make sure it's cold water. If it's not really cold water, it's better with ice cold water. Coconut milk, almond milk. Shake it up and drink it right away. If you let it sit for a while, it can get... it changes a little bit of flavor on it. It's not terrible, but I just like to shake it up and drink it right away. But those are on the website, drjoe.com. It's just amazing when people start taking care of themselves. They come in and they ask the question, I hear it every day, every few minutes, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I get chiropractic care sooner? Why did I suffer needlessly with headaches and neck pain and back pain and shoulder pain? If you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. Come see us, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Is it Thierra? Hello? Oh, Zarian. I'm well. How can we make your day better? Sure. Wow. Wow. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So insomnia, not an uncommon situation. If I said to everybody right now, raise your hand if you have sleep issues, a lot of hands would go up. So what happens is a couple of things we look at when it comes to sleep issues. We always look at the digestive system for several reasons. Number one, if the stomach is pushing up against the diaphragm, when you breathe, your diaphragm has to drop down to let air into your lungs. If the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm, you may not be getting enough air. And so people many times will have sleep apnea where they'll wake up because they're gasping for air. So if we can take the stomach and massage the diaphragm in the stomach and adjust it, pull it away from the diaphragm, many times that helps the physical issue. Now the stomach's job, we talked about this earlier with ADD, the stomachs break proteins into amino acids, and amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin becomes melatonin, which helps you sleep. So many times when I see people with insomnia, we have to fix their digestive system, number one, to mechanically allow the diaphragm to move, and then also to see if we're not getting the proper chemicals in the body to produce the neurotransmitters in the brain to help the person sleep. Then from a chiropractic standpoint, we check the nerves in the neck, because the nerves and blood vessels in the neck, if they're being pinched, can be affecting the nerve and blood supply up into the brain. So there's a 3-step protocol that we take with insomnia patients. And in most cases, again, we can't promise anything. In most cases, we get very good results. Yeah, have them come see us. We'll see what we can do for them. Thanks so much. Appreciate the call. If you have a question, folks, 844-44-Dr. Lines are open just for you. So if MSG can be making your diabetes worse, so you're diabetic, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to go out for Chinese food. Guess what? MSG. I like to have soups. Hydrolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, yeast extract. MSG can be making the type 2 diabetes worse. And if you mix it with the artificial sweeteners, you really increase the problem worse. So what do a lot of diabetics do? They drink diet soda. Wrong answer. If you have to have soda, there's now stevia sweetened soda. And you get stevia sweetened or erythritol sweetened. Monk fruit is another sweetener you could use. So you have options. Where we didn't have these options 20 years ago for diabetics, we have them now. But please, please, please stay away from the monosodium glutamate if you're type 2 diabetic, because it could be making the problem a whole lot worse. And they're excitotoxins. The excitotoxins are connected with cancer growth, the invasion of cancer, the spread of cancer. They've done studies where they elevate the glutamic acid in the vicinity of the tumor, and it's stimulated to invade the surrounding brain. It's brain tumors, because one of the brain tumors that can occur is called glioblastoma. And if you have glioblastoma and monosodium glutamate is involved, it can make the problem substantially worse. It's everywhere, folks, it's MSG. When we come back, a little bit more about MSG. Maybe we'll cover some genetically modified foods. If you have a question, give us a call. Lots of lines ringing at 844-44-Dr.Joe. That number, by the way, rings through to my offices when I'm not on the air. So if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, you've ever been in a car accident, ever. If the car was damaged, you were damaged. Folks, stop suffering. It breaks my heart when you come in my office and say, I've been suffering for 20, 30 years, and I've been meaning to come see you, but I haven't done it. Stop meaning and get to it. DrJoe.com is the website. 844-44-Dr.Joe. Get you an appointment. We're not on the air. We have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We'll be right back. If you're like most people, you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches. Maybe it's time to stop suffering and it's time to take action. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, why don't you come see me and my team of doctors, and let's see if you have a problem that we can help. Go to my website, DrJoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe to make an appointment today, because so many of you are out there suffering needlessly, and we want to put a stop to that. Come see us at our offices in Marietta, Stockbridge, and Duluth. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
Are you experiencing...
All right, back to our private sessions, our breakout sessions with our social media folks.
Last break you mentioned brain fog. Is it very different from mental rust? And if so, how do their treatments and remedies vary in general?
I don't know what mental rust is, so I can't help you there. Now, if you're talking about mental...
Kind of like aging.
Okay. Yeah, well, rust is oxidation. And how do we prevent oxidation? With antioxidants. So how do we get our antioxidants? Fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, super greens, an essential source. Plant-based diet, staying away from bad oils, omega-6 fatty acids, soy oil, corn oil, canola oil. You want to stay away from all processed oils if you can. If you're going to use an oil, make sure it's an avocado, a coconut, or olive, and only small amounts of organic. And that will help get the brain functioning properly. You got to get those antioxidants, and that's why the super greens, the essential source, are a must for most people. I'd say everybody.
So what's a great fiber supplement if you're not getting enough fiber in your natural diet?
Well, you need to get more fiber in your natural diet. If the bowels aren't moving, I would take Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser. It's not a fiber supplement, but it'll help the bowels move better. If you're going to do a fiber supplement, you can do chia seeds or psyllium husks. Make sure you grind them into a powder. If you take chia seeds, let's say, and just they have chia pudding, which is fine, a little bit is fine, but if you take a lot of chia seeds and drink it, and you don't drink enough water with it, it can clog you up. It creates a ball in your colon, and nothing gets past it. So if you're going to do chia seeds or flax seeds, psyllium husks, make sure you grind them into a powder, and then you'll be fine, and that works real well. And you can add that to your super greens and essential source if you want to. Add a teaspoon or two of that every day.
So what is it that's so bad about coffee? Is it caffeine? Because caffeine's also in tea.
Which is not good either. Okay? Coffee is the #1 sprayed food, the most pesticides of just about any food that I've never known any to have more of it. It's also an acid. When you put acid in your body has to neutralize the acid. The body uses calcium as its primary neutralizing agent. So you're sucking calcium out of your bones to neutralize the acids. Now, it does have antioxidants in it, so there is some good stuff about it. However, the bad far outweighs the good. And if you drink caffeine, any type of caffeine, chocolate tea, coffee, soda, it gets into your brain, and in your brain you release a chemical called adenosine. Adenosine is released into the brain, it's absorbed at adenosine receptor sites, and it makes you tired. Caffeine looks like adenosine, so it blocks up your adenosine receptor sites so you don't absorb the caffeine, you don't absorb the adenosine, and it keeps you awake. Not only is it a stimulant to the nervous system, it's also affecting the brain on a neurological level up into the brain. And so what the brain does, it starts producing more adenosine receptor sites because it wants to get tired. The brain needs to rest, and you keep messing with it. And so you're short-circuiting the nervous system. And the nerves are overworked, It causes the adrenal glands to produce adrenaline, so it can burn out the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands produce adrenaline. They produce hormones. They produce anti-inflammatories. Is that enough reasons not to drink it? If you don't know what it is, I have a whole chapter on it in Prescription for Extreme Health. We have a whole chapter on coffee. And if you go to my website, drjoe.com, the #1 watched video we have is the 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition. And that's right there. We have audio and video right there, and you could listen to it. We do a whole probably 10 or 15 minutes on coffee.
And Krista, yes, we did answer your question earlier. All Dr. Joe products can be taken together.
Yes, all the supplements can be taken together. If you come to our offices, you don't have to pay shipping. So why don't you just come by and pick them up at Marietta, Luther, Stockbridge? If you're in the Atlanta area, we'll save you some money. Now, of course, you can't come. And we charge you what it basically costs us. We don't make money on shipping. But, people say, well, that's $8, whatever it is. That's expensive. Call the post office. Okay, we can't change that. So,
also, if you come in, you can get our largest discount available. That's buy 3, get 1 free on either or the Essential Source or the
that's
Super
right.
Greens.
Buy 3, get 1 free if you come into the offices. And many times Garrett gets crazy on me and offers free shipping too. So
We just might have something like that today.
like today, for example. I think he's going to do it today. So keep watching. Another 40 minutes, he'll probably give out a code for free shipping. I know that Garrett. He loves spending my money.
We also have something special for the winter season.
Learn what you should eat and what not to eat to get healthy. Dr. Joe Esposito is on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. A lot of good information today. Holy cow, man, I wish I was listening. I'd be learning a lot of stuff. We're talking about a lot about monosodium glutamate. I didn't realize I was going to go this deep into it, but a lot of dangers. Researchers have shown that many cancers, including lung, breast, colon, and melanoma, have glutamate receptor sites. And so when the glutamate gets in there, it can stimulate those cells, and we don't want to stimulate the cancer cells any. So it's just another thing you want to add to your repertoire of life that you want to avoid. Aspartame is one, and if you add aspartame to it, we said it makes it worse. Studies have linked the consumption of significant increases in numerous cancers, especially brain cancer, degenerative brain disorders, progressive multiple sclerosis, depression, suicide, obesity, and headaches and seizures to aspartame. Because aspartame is 3 components: aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methyl esters. And aspartic acid, when it gets into the brain, acts like glutamic acid, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, as excitotoxins to the brain cells, and it causes them to fire faster than they're supposed to. So I'd strongly advise you stay away from the artificial sweetener. Of the 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener I consider the worst. Now we want to add glutamic acid in there as well, monosodium glutamate, because it acts the same way. Let's start taking some more callers. 844-44-Dr. Joe. If you have any questions, 844-44-DRJOE. Is it Rachel? Raquel? Rachel, how can we make your day better? You go, girl. Uh-huh. Sure. Uh-huh. Useless, correct. Sure. Yeah, so if, as a vegan, your iron might be a little low. Well, I give blood on a regular basis, and my iron is always like off the chart. They're like, oh my God, your blood is so red. I've never seen blood this color before. I said, we've never seen healthy blood before. You've seen sick blood. So as a vegan, I take Super Greens and Essential Source every day. There's anything that's red or green is going to have iron in it. Now, there's 2 types of iron. Heme iron, which comes from animal products. Heme, like hemoglobin, comes from the blood of an animal. Or non-heme iron, which comes from plants. Now, the heme iron is absorbed better than the non-heme iron, unless there's vitamin C present. And so in nature, Mother Nature's smart, and she put the non-heme iron, she mixed it up with some vitamin C, what you get from fruits and vegetables, so you can absorb it better. So if you're going to take iron, a plant-based supplement, it's always good to have vitamin C, which is usually present anyway. If you're going to take vitamin C as a supplement, make sure it's real vitamin C and not ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is only 1/8 of the vitamin C molecule, so don't be fooled by that. And the spinach is okay, but it has oxalic acid in it, which can be issues. That's a whole nother story. But anything dark green is going to be fine, and anything red. So the super greens, the essential source, are excellent sources of iron. And make sure you're eating your fruits and vegetables, get your vitamin C, and you should be okay. If you have to take a supplement, there are plant-based iron supplements out there. The ones that aren't plant-based many times cause constipation. The ones that are plant-based usually don't cause the constipation. So as long as you increase your green intake and your red intake, you should get that iron level back up again. Plant-based iron, if you're going to take a supplement, absolutely, yeah. And it's well worth it. Okay, thanks. Appreciate the call. If you have a question, folks, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-4DRJOE. Gentlemen, you'll enjoy this one. One study, aspartame was fed to mice in low, medium, and high doses. All 3 doses led to shrinkage of the testicles, but it was much worse in the higher doses. So, happens in mice, could happen in humans, could not happen in humans. Personally, I don't want to take that chance. So drinking artificial sweetener and getting into the body at all can cause some real serious problems. No one's ever bothered to test this on humans because it's really not an ethical test to do. Because if it happens in humans, it's, again, as researchers, they have to look at the ethics as well and say, is this something we really want to take there? Or should we just say, we published it, this is what we found, you make the right decision. No upside to artificial sweetener, only downside. And we have other artificial sweeteners. You have stevia, you have lohan, you have monk fruit. So there's plenty of other natural sugar-free sweeteners, I shouldn't say artificial sweeteners, sugar-free sweeteners that have 0 calories that are safe for diabetics. So we have the problem answered, so there's no reason to really go anywhere else. Let's cover a little bit on genetically modified foods. Inevitably, somebody's going to call up and ask a question about it, so I might as well cover it. If you do have a question, 844-44-Dr.Joe. Estimated that more than 70% of the processed foods in American supermarkets contain genetically modified ingredients. Close to 90% of all corn and soy products sold in the U.S. are genetically modified. You might see the sign GMO, genetically modified organism. That's what GMO stands for. So now you know what the O stands for. I don't know why it's called genetically modified organism, but that's what it is. Many European countries recognize these dangers and have rejected these crops, as have most African countries. So if you go to a grocery store in Europe, and one of my weird things is whenever I'm out of the country, I like to go to grocery stores. I like to see what's there. I think it's kind of cool. Especially if it's in a country that's not as well developed. You go into the stores. I just find it fascinating. But you'll find about 80% of the products here on the shelves in the States you're not going to find in other countries. And one of the reasons is they've banned genetically modified foods. And one of the reasons there is a lot of foods have high fructose corn syrup in it, which not only is bad for you and can cause issues with the liver, but it can also, it's made with genetically modified corn. So like soda, for example, if you get sodas that you like here in the States, many times if you go to other countries, they're not sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, they're sweetened with sugar. And in fact, one of the major soda companies now, and I gotta give them kudos, I think it's a good thing, it's a light brand of their soda, and it's sweetened half stevia and half sugar. Now, not happy with the sugar, but at least it's not high fructose corn syrup, which makes me sort of happy. I think we're kind of going in the right direction there. I'm not sure. So that's why you're not going to see 80% of the products that you'll see in the States in other countries. And if you do see the same brand, the ingredients aren't the same. So a lot of countries in Europe and Africa are a little ahead of the curve here. And I'm very happy to see that. And I had a patient come up to me the other day. I did a live remote with one of my friends here at the station. And he came up to me, he says, Dr. Joe, I listened to your show. He says, and I gave up all my wheat and I felt great. He says, I went to Europe and I treated myself. I was in Italy and I didn't have any reaction when I ate the wheat. Well, could be, it's a different type of wheat, first of all, because we haven't genetically modified wheat, we've hybridized it. And also many times they'll spray glyphosate on the wheat products here in the States. Folks, got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-444-DRJOE. We come back a little bit more about pesticides, how it's affecting your life. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, 844-44-Dr.Joe goes to my offices when I'm not on the air. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Stop suffering. Come see my team of chiropractors so we can get you well and keep you well. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Short circuit somewhere there. All right. What do you have? What do you have?
Famous Atlanta line. Eat More Paleo has a couple of questions.
Okay, Eat More Paleo.
One of them, thank you so much for the abbreviation. Can TSH levels be lowered naturally?
Thyroid stimulating. Yes, thyroid stimulating hormones produced in the brain, goes down into the thyroid, and it's a negative feedback loop. And so what happens is your body produces thyroid stimulating hormone in the brain, goes into the thyroid produces T1, T2, T3, and T4, your thyroid hormones. Then it goes back to the brain, and the brain says, okay, we've got enough hormones, we can stop producing it. Then when the levels start to drop again, the brain says, oh, it's getting low, let's send out some thyroid stimulating hormone to produce more thyroid. It's a negative feedback loop. So what happens is the reason it's high is because it's not getting feedback up into from the blood saying we have enough thyroid hormone. So we have to look at why is that happening. Are you eating things like chlorine, fluorine, and bromine, which are what's called haloids, and haloids can block up the iodine receptor sites in the thyroid, and you don't absorb your iodine? Are you getting any iodine in your life? Most people in the United States, especially if they don't live near the coast, get very little iodine in their diet. So Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source both have sea vegetables in them, which is a great source of iodine. So I would check your iodine levels, see where you are on that, and just taking iodine and staying away from chlorine and fluorine, which would be what? Chlorinated water, fluoridated toothpaste. Bromine is a dough conditioner used in a lot of commercial breads, so stay away from commercial breads. And if you can avoid chlorine, fluorine, and bromine and make sure you're getting enough iodine, hopefully that'll get your thyroid working to give the negative feedback loop up into the brain, so the brain says, yes, I have enough thyroid hormone, I don't need to produce any more thyroid stimulating hormone. From a chiropractic standpoint, check the nerves in the mid-back, the middle of the neck. That's the nerve that goes into the throat, which into the thyroid.
Second question from them is, how many hours do you stand a day?
No idea. Every time I do a show, so 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a week, just that, and I see patients, I'm walking all the time. I try to walk as much as I can, so I stand a lot. Yeah, it's important. Like I cleaned house today, and I was going to go out for a hike, and I thought, you know what? Why don't you stay home and stay active, still in motion, and get things done? So I stand a lot. Probably 4 or 5 hours a day minimum, I would guess. Yeah.
Good posture makes it easy.
That's right. Chiropractic care makes life easy when you can stand. Yeah. So.
Here's a question from YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
How do you feel about astaxanthin?
Oh, it's great. Great antioxidant. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Yeah.
And then from the same guy, in general, how do you feel about consumption of organ meats like liver?
Absolutely not. The liver, I mean, I was a kid. I grew up half German, half Italian. We ate lots of organ meat. Fried liver, chicken liver with onions. Oh, so good. It's the filter. It's the filter that all the junk goes through in the body, and then you're eating it. So even in organic animals, it's still the filter part. So I'm not a big fan of organ meats. So there you go. I get my Super Greens and Essential Source.
And we got an email out to engineering to take care of the rogue speaker.
Ah, good.
Of a suspicious package found outside the airport's international terminal. Turns out the package only
have you heard of Macuna?
Macuna.
M-A-C-U-N-A.
Isn't that from The Circle of Life? And Matata? No, I don't know what that is. So I can look it up now. No, I don't know what that one is.
Take a look, and Mr. Lee, ask us again next week.
There you go. Good. Send it to me through the website, drjoe.com, and I'll look it up for you.
All right. Now, Dr. Joe.
That's me.
I suffer from secondary Addison disease.
Yes.
What supplements would you recommend?
Adrenal support. Absolutely, adrenal support. That's a no-brainer. Nitric oxide, of course, Super Greens, an essential source to alkalize the system. And you got to check the nerve supply. You got to adjust the mid-back, the lower mid-back, which is the nerve supply into the area. So you want to get all that checked. Sounds like me. That is me.
Why is vegan better than eating meat for iron?
Because the non-heme iron is better absorbed. And if you're eating meat, many times the meat has toxic chemicals in it. And I've given countless lectures on why I don't eat meat. But the non-heme iron with the vitamin C is much easier absorbed. And so that's why I like to go that way for an iron source. And it's where the iron's coming from. The heme iron coming from the animal products come from the animal. And the animal is It's high in acid. It robs the body of calcium. If it's not organic, it's steroids, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, and tranquilizers in many cases. It's bad karma. I mean, what else do you want? Yeah, so.
And Hannah would like to know what your favorite food is.
My favorite food, beef goulash and egg noodles. You wanted to know. Haven't had it in 35 years, but I remember my birthday meal would be beef goulash and egg noodles. My mother would make it for me. It's so good. Now is what my favorite food? How about now? Ethiopian food. In fact, we were doing a live remote the other day, and we were giving away some of my books. And we asked trivia questions, Dr. Joe trivia questions. And I asked where I was from. Hoboken, by the way, if you ever get the trivia question. And Hoboken, New Jersey. And they said, what's my favorite ethnic cuisine? Of course, everybody guessed Italian, and they couldn't get it. And finally, someone said, oh, you said it on the show one day. Ethiopian. So I love Ethiopian food. If I had to go somewhere, like let's go out for dinner, where do you want to go? Ethiopian.
What's the name of that spongy bread?
Injera.
Injera.
Enjera, I think it is. Yeah. It's made with teff, which is a grain. Love it. I love Ethiopian food. I keep threatening my coworkers I'm going to take them out for Ethiopian food. I'll buy if they eat. So.
Well, I guess I can say that at least I am down.
You okay with Ethiopian? Good. I love it.
I love Injera. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, now you know. Now you know everything. See? Up to this point, Garrett knew everything except that. Now he knows that.
Can't stop me now.
That's right, man.
Well, don't forget, I'll pass this off.
Okay, yes, we can say this now. Okay, we're going to have a winter bundle special running. I'll talk about it on the show, too. We're going to have Wellness Booster, Seasonal Tonic and Wellness Booster. Wellness Booster stimulates your white blood cell production and helps to keep the immune system strong. I take it every day in the winter. And then Seasonal Tonic helps wipe out infections because the ingredients in there have been shown to help infections. I can't say it absolutely wipes it out. And we're going to have both of them as a bundle. And if you use the coupon code MSG, it's pretty simple, you get free shipping on all orders?
On all single orders.
All single orders. You can't do it on a, you know, if you're every month. But for single orders, use the coupon code MSG, you get free shipping.
And now there's no capitals in that. And then for the winter bundle, that's actually, we're giving you 20% off to buy both together.
Why you do this to me? Why you do this to me every week? You're always giving stuff away. So 20% off the winter bundle.
Why didn't I listen to him sooner? Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today because we're having a lot of fun today. A lot of good callers too. If you have a question, got 2 more segments, 84444 Dr. Joe. Now if you can't get through, or you're a little shy, and a lot of folks get a little freaked out when they're on the on the air, you can always send it through my website, drjoe.com. Like we have one here who was a little nervous to get on the air. Is it possible to replace medication blood thinners with diet? Caller didn't want to go on the air. Well, I never tell you to come off your medication ever. Because I'm not your medical doctor. I don't want to tell you to come off medication. So if you change your diet and you get on a good diet, many times the blood flows thinner. And a good example is this. When I donate blood, I put my arm out there and I donate the blood, and it comes out about twice as fast as the other people in the room. And I'll tell the techs there, I'll say, listen, keep an eye on me. I come out, my bag will fill up pretty quickly. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. And I'll be like, hello, take a look. And you're like, wow, that's really amazing. So when you have a good diet, your blood is thinner. It naturally flows through the arteries and veins more effectively. So that's why if you go down a plant-based diet, you're going to cut out the saturated fats from the meats and the dairy products, which actually clump your red blood cells together and prevent you from carrying oxygen, so you get tired. And a good example of this is go out and eat the way I tell you to for a week or two. How about that? A lot of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, nitric oxide if you want circulatory help. And then after about a week or two, go out and have a couple of slices of pepperoni cheese pizza. What's going to happen? You'll fall asleep. You're exhausted. I would be amazed if we could get just 10% of the world eating a healthy lunch. Because they're going to have so much more productivity in the afternoon. Productivity would skyrocket. Your life would skyrocket. Imagine going home from work, here comes a little fantasy, and not being tired. What would that be like? Going out with your friends, cleaning the house, reading a book, listening to podcasts of Dr. Joe at drjoe.com. How cool would that be? Going on dates, having fun on a weekday? You can do all that when you're not exhausted at the end of the day. And a lot of that has to do with your circulation. Because if you're not having good circulation, you're not carrying oxygen, you get tired. So I'm not saying you can replace your blood thinner with a plant-based diet, but chances are if you do go to a plant-based diet, you may not need the blood thinner. See my little semantical play there? So yeah, I've seen it many, many times with patients. And a perfect example is myself included, because the blood flows so much easier through my veins. So I'm not a big fan of genetically modified foods, corn and soy being the big ones. There's a lot of other genetically modified foods, but the corn and the soy are the big ones because those are the ones that are in so many different products. So hey, let's try to avoid it if we can. You know what? What do you got to lose? If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. So what? I lied to you. First man ever lied to you? No. But if I'm right, which I am, then you'll say, maybe I should listen to everything Dr. Joe says. And you're probably right about that. Let me cover a little bit about oils, because I covered a little bit about this a while ago. Vegetable oils, they're promoted to the public, health officials, medical establishment, dietitians. Oh, you got to do those polyunsaturated fats. You got to do the vegetable oils. Not happy with that. If you do these oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids in large amounts cause inflammation. In a perfect world, you should have 1 omega-6 fatty acid to 1 omega-3 fatty acid in your diet. Americans have 20, 25 omega-6s to 1 omega-3 in many cases. And so what's happening is you have this inflammatory reaction. Peanut oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil. And the problem is that a lot of these oils oxidize. They go rancid very easily. And when they go rancid, they can get into the blood system and irritate the lining of the blood vessel walls. We kind of talked about that a little earlier. And that can be very harmful to your brain and your heart. So most processed foods contain 1 or more of these oils, and you should only cook with avocado oil, coconut oil, or olive oil. And if it starts to smoke, if the oil starts to smoke, guess what? It's starting to go rancid. It's starting to oxidize. So never ever let your oil get that hot that it's actually starting to smoke. To increase your brain productivity and capacity, you might want to add turmeric to your oils. Mix it well. And the turmeric is a wonderful antioxidant and prevents a lot of oxidation and rancidity. So that's a neat little trick you can do. Just take some turmeric and add it to your cooking oils, and it shouldn't change the flavor much at all. And I think you'll be pretty happy with that little trick there. See, it's all about tricks. And that's why I created Super Greens, an essential source. I had to come up with an easy, quick, inexpensive way to get massive doses of antioxidants and nutrients into my patients. That was my goal. Originally, way back when I first came up with this. How can I get these massive doses of really high quality nutrients into our patients at a very affordable price? And so it started out basically for me when I started using it. Then my staff started using it, and then patients started using it. And now it's extremely popular. Of all the supplements we have, Super Greens and Essential Source are our top most popular supplements. They're easy to take. They're powders. I mix it with coconut oil, coconut milk, almond milk, cold water, shake it up and drink it. And I take it at least once a day. If I have a big day, if I have a bunch of radio shows, TV appearances, a bunch of patients lined up, lectures, I'll take a double dose. You're not going to hurt yourself. I mean, somebody said, how much is too much, Dr. Joe? And I said, well, if you start getting diarrhea, you probably took too much. But that's probably like the worst thing that'll happen. So those are all there. They're on the website, drjoe.com. And I just, every single day, patients come in the office. I was at a party last night. People were stopping me. Love your products. Oh my gosh. Friend of mine, chiropractor down in Florida. I did some postgraduate work the other day. I was teaching at a postgraduate, and he was there. And he said, you're like an unbelievable speaker. He says, I've never heard anybody speak as well as you, and so much knowledge that I took away. He says, and you're funny. He says, and he's known me, so it's kind of like no man's a prophet in his own hometown. You know, people that know you think, you know what you're talking about. So he said, I got some of your greens. He goes, let me tell you something, man. He says, that's the real deal. The Super Greens, the essential source. He goes, my son's a bodybuilder. He says, it's the best green powder he's ever had. And so it's kind of neat. And they're on the website, drjoe.com, and do that. And if you come by our offices, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area. Number one, come see us so we can get you work done from a chiropractic standpoint. If you come by and pick them up, there's no shipping. So save you a couple of bucks there too. And that's what I want to do. I want to get you well and keep you well. So let's talk a little bit about some of it's in the news. We get a lot of calls on this. the big settlements that just came out with glyphosate, was it $980 million? I don't know if that's the exact number, but something around there. And a lot of that fine, some of it is going to the guy who's dying from cancer, but a lot of it is penalties. Because the research is there saying that, oh, we kind of knew this was going to do this, but we didn't tell anybody. And now they got their wrist slapped really, really, really hard. So let's talk a little bit about that, because everyone somehow or another is going to bring this up in a conversation because it's in the news. A lot of farmers use it. It's a weed killer. And what happens is it works great. You probably have it in your garage right now, glyphosate. And you spray it on the weeds, and the weeds die in a couple of days or a day or so, and you think, oh my gosh, that stuff's amazing. Yeah, well, if you spray it on anything, it'll kill anything. But what we found, scientists found, that if they, I got to go to break. I got to come back and talk about that. Folks, got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, last segment, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-4-DRJOE. If you don't get through, you can always send me your questions through the website, drjoe.com. Hundreds of hours of podcasts there on the website, video and audio. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, because you live stream a lot of my shows, and you can watch us live. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, ever been in a car accident, the sooner you get to us, the better. We're a team of chiropractors. Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We want to get you well and keep you well. Stop suffering needlessly. We'll be right back.
That payout was to one Californian man for $290 million.
He got $290 million. The others were penalties then, right?
Correct.
The other $800 million, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the initial payout.
And not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
All right, last segment for our little intimate breakout sessions. And folks, if we don't get to your questions, go to my website, come see us, which is actually the ultimate, because then we can actually not just guess. We'll kind of give you an educated guess when we talk to you here. If you come see us, we can give you a much more in-depth evaluation. So, all right, Mr. G.
Let's
just taking notes back there.
Is it bad to eat a lot of tomatoes because of the acidity?
No, not really. It's a very mild acid and has a lot of nutrients in it that neutralize the acid, so it's not that big a deal.
I walk into this man's office at least once a week, seeing him with a big bowl of nothing but cherry tomatoes.
Yep, cherry tomatoes, salads. I really do live the life. People always ask my friends, is he really like this in real life? Yeah, he really is nuts. But I want to be around for a long time.
So, Dr. Joe, I heard a good cleanse was distilled water, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice.
It's called the Master Cleanse, yes.
Is it good for you?
Yes.
And how often should you do it?
You can do it at the change of the seasons, like going into winter and then going into summer again is a good time to do it. Probably twice a year is a good time to do the Master Cleanse. That's a brand, but if you look it up online, you could also add maple syrup to it as well. That's another trick you can add to this way you keep some blood sugar in the body then too. So.
All right, now Brett wants to know, is vitamin K a risk for people who have a blood disorder such as factor V Leiden?
It depends if you have vitamin K1 or K2. K2 is for bone mass. K1 you want to check with your doctors to make sure on that one. So, yes.
And that is it thus far.
All right, excellent. It's our last break. God, this goes so quick, doesn't it? Yeah. When we come back, I'm going to make an announcement. We have one caller who didn't want to get on the air, wants to talk about cold and flu season. We're going to cover a little bit about that too, and then we'll talk about the special we're going to run. We're going to have Dr. Joe's seasonal tonic and Dr. Joe's wellness booster, and we're going to Garrett, kick that guy's butt. He keeps putting them on sale, so he's going to bundle together 10% off.
20% off.
Come on, man, you're killing me here. 20% off if you get the wellness booster and a seasonal tonic, and if you use the code MSG. They get both? Free shipping too?
They get free shipping for this week.
You're killing me here. Yes, free shipping on any order, right? Not just any order.
Yeah, not just the winter.
Right.
The winter package. That's on any single order.
Okay.
As many products as you want to throw in that single order.
Yeah. And folks, if you get on a monthly reorder program, you save.
It's 10% guaranteed.
10% guaranteed right off the top. So just get on your monthly reorder, and you can cancel at any time. So.
And it shouldn't be but another month, and we'll be offering free shipping over a certain dollar amount, even on subscriptions. And the dollar amount is looking like $120.
Okay.
Based on the size of all of our containers and stuff, it's looking like it's going to be about $120 to where we can pretty much break even on the fulfillment side.
Okay.
And you guys can get free shipping.
Okay. This guy.
All of this will be coming out in the newsletter.
Oh yeah, send us your. Oh, gotta say that. Send your email address. Yeah. Make sure you send us your email address.
We don't email you every day, every week. We don't sell your information. You get one email a month, maybe two sometimes if we do something big and special.
Yeah, but we're not going to bother you. Believe me, I hate junk in my email box too. So
I just deleted 270 newsletters from my inbox.
Because once you get on one, they give it to everybody else. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You'll never give out your email ever. Promise.
Took 2 hours of my Saturday.
Yeah, right. You have nothing else to do with your free time. All right.
Can you have too much B12?
Probably not. It's water soluble. You're going to pee it out. I mean, if you took like handfuls of anything, yeah. But your body in a lifetime uses about a thimble full of B12. You don't use a lot of it. So, yeah, you'd have to take a heck of a lot of it.
Parkway, exit 263. Stay to the far left from Windy Hill Road where the brake lights are glowing, heading up toward Highway 5 and 575.
Mr. Longoria doing an excellent job today, huh?
WSB.
Here we go.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with me today. I'm talking about foods that heal and foods that can make you sick. And we covered a lot today. So this is the last segment. So I want to let you know, if you're just tuning in, and a lot of folks say, well, did you cover this? Did you cover it? Go to my website, drjoe.com. This show will be on there tomorrow, I'm assuming. And well over 1,000 hours of podcast, audio and video. If you have SoundCloud, you can download the shows and listen to them at your leisure. If you go to my website, we have the audios that are there. The videos are on YouTube, and you can watch the videos. Do me this favor. Follow me on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, because we stream a lot of our live shows, and then you get to see them live. But also send us your email address. We send out newsletters periodically. I promise you, I'm never going to sell your email address, your newsletter, because you sign up for one newsletter, they sell it to everybody else, and then you get a million newsletters. We'll never give out your email address, I promise. But sometimes we have specials on supplements. We have special lectures. Maybe we'll have just a breakout session for just the folks on our newsletter list. So you want to be with the cool kids. And so send us your email address. We'll put you on the email list, and that's at drjoe.com. So I do want to cover this. Somebody called in, didn't want to go on the air. They want to know about cold and flu, of course. I'm surprised no one asked that question yet. A couple of things. Number one, you got to keep your immune system strong. So studies have shown that if you do just a 1/4 teaspoon of nutritional yeast every day, nutritional yeast has a certain type of beta-glucan in it that can actually help tremendously with keeping your immune system strong. So nutritional yeast you can get any grocery store. I don't have it on my website or anything. Most health food sections of grocery stores carry it. I use more than a 1/4 teaspoon. I like the flavor. It's a nice savory flavor. It stimulates my umami taste buds. And I just love the flavor. It makes things kind of rich and thick. So you can do that. And you want to make sure you're getting your vitamin D levels where it needs to be. You need to be around 40 to 50. That's how we measure vitamin D. And when you get your blood work done, check your vitamin D always. And I like it right around 50, to be honest with you. 40, I think, is like the low end. I'd rather go up to 50. Most people are vitamin D deficient, and especially in the winter, because I was at a party last night, and actually one of my patients was there. And she said, well, I get out in the sun a lot. I'm outside a lot. But in the winter, the UVB rays are hitting the earth on an angle that is not going to stimulate vitamin D production. Because it's just not getting the right angle of the sun. So in the winter, always, always, always vitamin D. The further north you go, the more likely you are to get sick. We know this. People along the equator, you never hear about a flu outbreak along the equator. Why is that? Lots of direct UVB rays, lots of vitamin D. So on the website, drjoe.com, we have Dr. Joe's vitamin D. We also add vitamin K2 to it to help build your bones. I take 5 drops a day. 5 drops is 5,000 international units. It's not a lot, and it has essentially no flavor. So that's really important for flu season. I also have 2 products. I don't talk about these a lot, but they're awesome. I take them every day in the winter, and one of them is Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster, and it's Echinacea, Pau d'Arco, olive leaf extract, and suma root. Now, these are herbs that have been shown in research to help the immune system. So I take that every day. I take about a dropper full of that every day. Now, if I feel myself getting sick, let's assume I start getting a scratchy throat or runny nose. I haven't had one in years. We have the seasonal tonic. Now, seasonal tonic, when I first started making this, everybody made fun of me. But I tell you what, once you start taking it, it's ginger, horseradish, cayenne pepper, onion, and garlic pureed in apple cider vinegar. And it tastes the way it sounds. But it's so amazing to, a lot of pilots carry it with them, travel, flight attendants, because it really, really works real well. In most cases, again, I'm not telling you to not take drugs, but this stuff works really, really, really well from a natural standpoint. So the vitamin D, the wellness booster, the seasonal tonic, those are all on the website, drjoe.com, and it's really a good idea to keep your body healthy. And those are some things. You also want to avoid sugar because sugar weakens the immune system. In my book, Eating Right, Prescription for Extreme Health, we talk about how sugar can blow out your immune system. We have a whole chapter on that. So it's ironic that we eat the worst foods when we're not getting enough sunlight and enough exercise. What do I mean by the worst foods? Starts with Halloween. Everybody overdoses on candy. What do? You buy candy for the kids. Kids don't show up. You go, what am I going to do with this candy? I could return it to the store and get my money back. No, that would be silly. I'm just going to eat it. And then everybody gets sick the week after Halloween. And then we come up with Thanksgiving. And then everybody gets sick the week after Thanksgiving. And then we just go to Christmas parties like crazy. Everybody's sick from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And it's just a horrible time. So you really got to do everything you can to keep your body as healthy as you can. And the vitamin D is going to be a big player. The wellness booster, the seasonal tonic, those are all on the website, drjoe.com. Let's take another caller, and then we got lots more to talk about. And not a lot of, no, we don't have a lot of time at all. Let's grab this caller real quick. Helen, how can we make your day better? Okay, well, if the gallbladder is not diseased, if it's diseased, it may have to come out. And that's why the doctors will do some tests on you, maybe an ultrasound. And if it's rotting, I mean, it actually starts to rot, basically, many times you need the surgery. And I'm not a fan of surgery, but if you need it, you need it. Now, as far as gallbladder goes, you got to be careful with the amount of fat that you eat. You want to stay away from concentrated animal fats because it really puts a stress on the gallbladder. You want to go to an alkaline diet. So the acid foods are alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. So if you're eating a lot of acid foods, those acids have to be neutralized with calcium, and a neutralized calcium acid combination can clog up your liver. But staying away from processed foods, fried foods, sugars, these are the things that put the main stress on the liver, and the gallbladder is connected to the liver. Staying away from concentrated fatty foods, animal products is a real good thing as well. So a lot of with the gallbladder is not so much what you take, it's what you don't take. You have to take responsibility for this one. So making sure you're drinking enough water. Super Green's an essential source, of course, can alkalize the system. And then if it really gets bad, then you might have to come see us and we can do an analysis and put together a whole gallbladder protocol for you. But at this point, it's things you have to not do. Okay? All right, Helen, thanks so much. I know we started the show with this. People are saying, but Doc, I don't want to do these things. I know you don't want to do them, but you have to do them. It's about your health. It's about your life. It's how you stay alive. So we're just about out of time. Once again, the website, drjoe.com, well over 1,000 hours of podcast. This show will be on there tomorrow, audio and video version of it. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Send us your email address so we can put you on a newsletter list. We'll never give you a newsletter out. And it's really important, folks, that you take control of your health. Now, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, if you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. Stop suffering needlessly. Come see us in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We want to help get you well and keep you well. And we'd love to see you. We accept most insurances, not all, but we have in-network, out-of-network benefits. Folks, call the office if you have questions, and let's try to get you in as soon as possible. Bring your kids as well, because if kids have healthy spines, they grow straight. As far as the Wellness Booster and the Seasonal Tonic, this week only, you're going to get 20% off if you order it. And if you use the coupon code MSG, small letters MSG, when you order any single order, you're going to get free shipping. So that's all on the website, drjoe.com. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you next time.